CJ Naselli on RiverBender.com. Welcome back to our daily show on this Monday morning. We got two actors in the studio. How are we doing today, gentlemen?
Good. Nice.
Well, you know, this is really exciting. We got John O'Hagan and Riley Kapp in studio starting on October the 2nd, as you guys see on your lower third. The Dumb Waiter premieres, and this is a really great opportunity. It just sounds like a great night to really have just witness a wonderful production.
Yeah, it's fantastic. We're really excited to be doing this. This is the first live production that Bankside has done since the pandemic. We've done a couple of kind of radio drama type things through a podcast that we host, but this is Bankside's first live production since 2019.
2018,
well,
2019.
we did do a broadcast of 12 Dates of Christmas in the height of the pandemic, but this will be the first one where we bring performers and audience back into the space together again.
Well, let's touch on that. What does that mean for both of you? I mean, that's been almost like a lost, art form for you, right?
Yeah.
It's tremendously exciting to bring that back to this area. We've got a lot of good work that's happening in St. Louis, but something as immediate in the Alton, Godfrey, Elsa area to have that kind of live component again is really, really exciting. And I can't, personally, I can't wait to be on the stage with this particular play at this particular time with the local community seeing and engaging in this work in ways. It's a tight 90-minute play, so it's not a huge investment in the evening, but it's really incredibly thought-provoking as well as entertaining. So I think anybody coming to see it is going to walk away with a lot to talk about, a lot to think about.
Well, and I'm excited for this because just from what we were talking about before we started, recording the interview, it seems like just a wonderful production. But on top of that, right now, man, I mean, guys, think about it. Life's crazy. We all need 90 minutes of escape, So to have any type of setting where you have 90 minutes to 2 hours of turning off all the electronics and just immersing yourself in a different world, I mean, that's the biggest call to action I could give anybody is go take that escape.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting, too, because while the piece has, I think, equal elements of comedy and drama, was the phrase that you just...
comedy of menace? Comedy of menace.
That's such an intriguing statement because it's like, at first that can be interpreted 3 or 4 ways, I'm sure, by the audience when they're going into this. Now, for both of you, did you have to discover what the production truly was and what it meant while you were in the middle of it, or did you have a great idea while you were preparing before rehearsal started?
Well, with Pinter especially, there's the playwright has he has such an energy, such a feel about what the work he's done. Betrayal, Homecoming, these other shows that have this feeling that just permeate all the way through them. And so this one, earlier in his work, it's different, it's shorter, but it still has those same elements of his brilliant writing all the way through. But as I said, there's funny things in it. It's tight. There's a lot of things that we've had to discover as we've been playing around that allow us to go like, oh, here's just this little tiny bit that we think could be really important.
Yeah.
What I really appreciated is that anybody who has kind of any alertness to Dumbwaiter or Harold Pinter knows that there seems to be a predominance of dark overtone to much of his work. And what I really appreciate is I think Riley and I came into the initial rehearsals with that kind of thought and weight behind us, but we also opened up to just what was happening in the space between the two of us. We had an experience early on. We were rehearsing just in our own normal American accents. It is a British play, and during one read we thought, let's throw a bit of the British at it and see what happens. And by the end of that read, we were both like, we have to totally do the accent because the rhythms and everything changed. But also within the process of the work, we've made some discoveries, I think, in this production, the way that we're approaching the work, that I haven't seen reflected in any other production of The Dumbwaiter. I think we found a couple of moments that we've actually taken in slightly different directions than what most productions have done, and I think opens up greater opportunity for what the audience can get out of the play.
So before we dive in and I follow up with some things that I just took away from some of those conversations, for the audience that maybe is needing a little bit of a teaser trailer, what's the best way to do this? Because I always get nervous when I talk about a production because you never want to spoil anything. But if we could, is there a synopsis that we can kind of dive into a little bit to at least tease them and get them ready to come?
So we encounter at the beginning of the play 2 professional-looking individuals stuck in a basement, trapped in a basement with the expectation that something's going to happen. But nobody really knows what it is. So we are constantly kind of trying to anticipate and figure out what is this thing that's going to happen. So part of unraveling that riddle, that mystery, both for the characters and for the audience, is part of the fun. I won't say it's a murder mystery at all, but it's something that you constantly are kind of like, I think I know what's going. I think I know what's going on.
There are clues about what is going on throughout the show.
Gotcha.
And I was telling John that it would be really fun to have somebody come and see the show like opening, watch it all the way through, see something, and then come back the next night. And with all of the knowledge they gained from what happened that first one, come back and see what bits of information or what things were dropped in by the playwright throughout. They go, oh my gosh, that happened. What? I didn't even realize that was there.
So I wanted to talk about that because, we beforehand kind of went over the play a little bit in the production, but how important are the subtle moments of what you two were doing in those 90 minutes? Because to me, I feel like those subtle cues of maybe, tension building or, maybe the body, the posture of how you guys are talking or, the tenseness of it or just, some of the ways that the rhythm is in those conversations. Those subtle cues, I would think, mean more sometimes than maybe even some of the lines.
1,000%. 1,000%, TJ.
So 100% in that regard.
Yeah. Pinter, again, for theater goers and actors and playwrights, Pinter's, if he's famous for anything, he's famous for his silences within the structure of the play. And what is amazing is that while there's silence, there's so much that happens. And so much of what you glean about the nature of the relationship and what the events are, exactly what you just said. What are those subtle little things that are happening moment by moment by moment that you pick up on and follow through?
Well, and then following up on what Riley was touching on with getting a new, taking something new out of it the next time, I think that's where so much value is in this production because of those subtle silences, those silences, and you're coming in going, oh my God, yeah, this all makes sense now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And in the beauty of live theater, and it's true even as we work, as we're in process, and I know how Riley works, he knows how I work, I guarantee you, it's not going to be the same thing every night.
Right.
We're going to find different things every night that go, what the, okay, what? So, it is absolutely live.
That's that's what I think is so cool about that is that realness and that rawness to it too. Because I'm not one for sterilized productions. I don't want to go and see the same conveyor belt, which some people do, and that's awesome. I like that, but I like the realness to it,
Yeah, I mean, film has its place.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing every time. Live theater is unlike anything else in that, I talk to my students about this all the time. You really don't know when the bus is going to come through the back wall of the theater. So every night it's different. It's very different because it can't be anything but.
And before we go any further into the production, Riley, take me through your background in performing a little bit for our audience.
Oh, sure. I went to school just right around here at Principia College,
cool.
and I studied with John. So he's been a big professor, mentor. This relationship is just
box out of 10. How good is he?
Can I put 11 down there?
Good answer. That's a good answer.
Yeah.
Because now I control your contract.
Yeah.
Just your rating.
Make sure I check the right box. Yeah. So it got a start here, which is why it's really cool to be able to come back.
Yeah.
And be able to perform in this community as well, and start come back all the way to where I started this whole journey. And then I took a little bit of time, and I was working in St. Louis, just right across the river. And then I went to grad school for a couple of years down at the University of Houston.
Oh, wow.
So I was down there, worked with some great people, Jack Young, Adam Noble, Rosie Ward, Jim Johnson, that really gave me this great deep, rounded experience for performing and acting. And since then, I've kind of been all over the place, come back to St. Louis, and currently I'm living up in Chicago. So going and
Living the dream.
yeah. Go and get to experience the real, big city theater, big lights, overwhelming, all that stuff. And so getting to come back here and do something where it all really started for me is awesome. And
Well, that's really cool, man. Congratulations. And, John, what's it mean to be working with one of your students? That's cool.
It's fantastic, and it's one of those situations where...
Was it planned that way?
No, I mean, when the idea for me to do the dumbwaiter came up in thought for the first time, and I pitched it to Bankside, it was just like, it's a two-hander, so it'll be a little bit easier to produce.
Right.
And then I found out that Riley was still going to be in the general area. He was going to be in Chicago, and I was like, that's the perfect counterpoint to this, perfect balance point. So the opportunity to open it up was really a gift, and it's what's really gratifying for me, having Riley come back, having been a student of mine, isn't necessarily that I see what I taught him reflected in his work, but what he's gone on to learn and do and bring back. And I start to see the artist that he is rather than the student that he was. And it's a really joy to work in that same kind of space with the person.
I love that because, I do professional wrestling and all that in media,
Cool.
do a ton of stuff. Because I'm one of those people where if you can learn a lot about different subjects and go into different categories and become uncomfortable and be comfortable with it, you're going to be a hell of a lot better off, whether as a performer or anyone else, or any type of facet you're in. But to hear this is really cool because, art's it seems like it's such a recycle industry because you can't just sit there and eliminate all that you've learned, and you can't just sit there and go, I'm not going to help anybody, I'm not going to talk to anybody. And it seems like you really help, grow the network of what your classes already are doing, and it's almost a walking billboard for the great work that's being achieved.
Absolutely it is. It's not only walking billboard for the program as a whole at Principia, but again, to have Riley come back, having had the experience that he's had both in grad school and his professional life, his early professional life, it is a testament to the students that we're currently working with that it's out there. It's out there if you want to. You can go and get it. There's no one formula for getting it, but if you want it, here's the testament. And Riley's one of several graduates that we have that are out in the world doing great work that we just keep pointing to. It's like, don't believe us, believe them, believe what you see there.
I don't normally do this, but I do want to follow up on that point because I think right now, Alton and this region have a lot of folks that are really wanting to get into that industry and really get into art and immerse themselves in it. It's been really cool to see. How important is it to keep walking and keep those feet moving the first couple of months, the first year of starting this? Because no one knows better than performers and how hard it is to get the train to start moving.
Yeah.
Well, and something that has come up really recently for me is how important having people that not only also want to do the work, but that I genuinely enjoy doing it with is such a lifeline to being able to even get the art out there in the first place.
You just hit it on that. You have to have fun and enjoy it to do this.
Yeah.
You can't have a stick up your ass and decide that you're going to be an entertainer or performer.
Yeah.
It's
There's
not
a reason
work.
they call it a play.
That's a beautiful point. Well, getting back in, John, wanted to talk a little bit because I may or may not have clicked on the link and I got this encyclopedia of all this wonderful work that you've done. Let's talk about your career a little bit and what students can get out of your classes and just working with you in general.
I don't know.
You got a lot. You can get a lot.
See, good answer. That's why Riley's here. But take me through a little bit of your background in performing and what's led you up to this point.
So somebody asked me recently how I came into teaching, and I kind of fell into it backwards. I was between gigs, and I had the choice to either frame houses during the winter or teach a couple of classes with some young people. And I went and started doing some of the teaching and really kind of enjoyed it. I was working with junior high and high school students at that point back in Idaho. And then a friend of mine who had a collegiate teaching position asked me if I would come in and direct a production of Fiddler on the Roof while he was on sabbatical. And I said, yeah, sure. I needed the money. It was a gig. And I went to the first few rehearsals and was absolutely inspired by what I was able to do and see and work with these young artists. And I remember I came home that night and I said to my wife, I think I know what I'm supposed to be doing. And so that set me on the journey of heading off to my own grad school experience for teaching, which, long story short, brought me here to Prynne some 10 years ago. And now I've kind of come full circle again. I have moved out away from full-time teaching into working in Ireland and the UK and Europe as a freelance actor, director, producer,
Really
teacher,
cool.
and then coming back here and continuing to teach in these places. So I think if there's one thing that I try really hard to instill in the students and anybody that I work with that has an interest in this, it's trusting yourself, having faith in what you have to offer, and just keep going. Just keep going.
I got to ask you this because, when I talk to performers and actors and when we do it, it seems like sometimes those young artists are what give them that breath of life again.
Yeah.
And I got to ask you, what's the most inspiring part or aspect of being around a young artist? Is it the naiveness to in a way where it's like, we're just happy and excited to be there? Is it the energy? What is the most inspirational?
The most inspirational thing for me is the fact that invariably, almost daily in class, I will ask a question about some of the work that we're doing, expecting one answer, and invariably one of these students, one of these people who are just starting out, will say something that is so stunningly brilliant and so on the nose that I haven't thought about, that what's inspiring to me is that simply by opening up the conversation and the opportunity, they teach me things.
Yeah,
and
100%.
that's what keeps me just incredibly juiced about it.
Man, what a great conversation. Coming up on October the 2nd, you've seen that on your lower third, the Dumb Waiter starts. Now, let's talk details here.
Yep.
Where are we located and how much money do I need to give you for the show?
So we are doing all performances on the campus of Principia College.
Beautiful campus,
up in Elsa.
by the way.
Yeah, really easy to get to, just along the River Road and then turning into Elsa and follow the signs. We're in the Davis Black Box, October 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th at 7:30 p.m. Tickets are available at the door. We don't yet have on the Bankside website the ability to do transactions there. It's something we're working towards as we come back. So tickets are available at the door.
Okay.
And they are $5 for students and $12 for general public.
Do you know what $12 would get you in a St. Louis theater? Not even a quarter of a parking spot in an unfenced lot. That is incredible.
And I can guarantee you the work is as good.
100%. Yeah. I'm so excited because to me, this is a really great opportunity for folks to go in because grand picture here, because I always like to think outside the box and bringing things in, is right now in life, we're very good at assuming, you know, where we always assume we know what that person's going through or what the big news conspiracy is. We assume it all the time. In this play, every one of the audience members is going to assume at some portion what you two are doing. And then, oh my God, I'm either right or wrong, but it's just that kind of full circle moment in life where maybe it's a good type of opportunity to go, we're judging too early and let's follow along for the ride, you know?
Actually, that's a fairly important theme in the play. There's some very, for a place that was originally produced in 1960, there's some very contemporary themes and ideas.
Yeah.
The other thing that I would throw out for the audience, if this is your first opportunity to reconnect or engage in live theater for the first time, this is a very affordable, really wonderful way to do it. Take a risk. It's a $12 investment. I guarantee you get your money's worth, and you might just find, live theater really means something to me, and you start circling around to what else. Alton Little Theater that I know has a production of Rocky Horror coming up.
October 31st.
Yeah, a rising tide lifts all boats.
You got to.
So, if we can help somebody go, oh yeah, I really want to spend more time in live theater, wherever it is, I'd love to be that door.
And I like it too because it's not one that you're gonna, there's not a bunch of flashing, lights and sounds hitting you too. So for folks that maybe have a little bit of a nervousness to it, this is a great opportunity.
It's a great way to do it. Yeah,
man, this is cool.
This is literally a show where the lights come up at the beginning. And the lights go down at the end. There's not a lot of
I love it. I love it. That's how it was. I did Elephant's Graveyard at Alton Little Theater because they couldn't find anyone. I said, I'll do it because we do a segment every month on the show, twice a month. And, there's something about the whole aspect, just like pro wrestling, where you have to feed off the audience or some type of energy level. You know what I'm saying?
It's so immediate. So immediate.
Gotta have
it doesn't, as you know, as a performer, it doesn't finish until the audience is there.
100%.
It's not a full circuit.
Yeah.
They
It's not
complete
all
the
way around.
circuit. Yeah.
Yeah, I've always I kept making the joke. I'm like, every time we're in rehearsal, I always felt like the divorced dad with the only thing left is the couch because the audience wasn't there.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
oh, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Dig, But getting into back into this, we've been talking for 20 minutes already. And
Oh, sorry.
I keep
Babble
going
bubble.
way over. But was there a part in your rehearsals where maybe you guys couldn't stop laughing or you couldn't get through? Was there any type of like just hiccup that was coming in? Because there's always, to me, it's like the littlest thing that just gets me going.
Well, I know that there's one bit that they have with that they're exchanging. I won't say what, but they're exchanging objects that are important in the show that need to go somewhere else. And there was us just trying to figure out like what these things are, where we're going with them, and like how do I mean, it's just like little movements, things of like us trying to exchange things and figure out like where are they supposed to go? What are we going to do? And so like, and that's one of the brilliant things about live theater is like things can go bump, and then it's like, okay, we got to figure out where we're going from here as that thing flies off over there.
Yeah.
Like, so just. It's the live theater.
It's always also kind of entertaining to see actually internationally where we land with the accents.
Oh yeah.
So we're working hard, but as we develop that, we've been spending some time in Australia, a little bit in New Zealand, and personally, I've been in Kentucky a couple of times. So, yeah.
Just depends on the night where I'm
Throwing it out.
throwing it on the dartboard and see where it comes out.
You guys got to get your tickets. October 2nd through the 5th. Am I correct?
Yep, 2nd through 5th.
Nick
Yep.
gets nervous when I start guessing, man. October 2nd through the 5th. Be a part of the Dumbwaiter over there in Principia College. You just follow the signs once you get into Elsa. It's very easy to get
Yeah,
there.
really
$5 for students, $12 for adults.
And I think Riverbender's doing a ticket giveaway too.
We
so
are.
Jump on that.
It just hit social media, so you have a chance to win some free tickets. And we'll link everything in an article on RiverBender.com. Again, we'll link it in the on-demand interviews too, so we can post. Any social media we can stay up to date on?
Well, Bank said will start putting some stuff out through their page and
Okay.
Facebook page, and then independently our socials will be kicking stuff out in the next week too.
Really?
So.
This is cool. Well, Riley, John, thank you so much for
CJ,
your
thanks so
time.
much. This is fantastic.
This was great.
Yeah,
This
I
was
really
really fun.
enjoyed it.
Thanks,
really
man.
enjoyed it.
We'll take a quick break here on this Monday morning. When we come back, to be quite honest with you, I haven't really produced the show yet, and it's Saturday. So we'll find out who's coming back right after this in downtown Alton and Roku TV.